Come on up in here. Let's get it started. Ish goes off on Joe Budden, co-host, for deviating his brand. Yeah, let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Come on up in here. Come on up in here. I want to give a shout out to the shop. It's your boy, Mr. Pop. Shh. About to get started up in here. A one. A two. A three. Let's go.
Ish goes off on the Joe Budden cast for devaluing his brand.
You talking about something that somebody makes money off of by selling a product. So you putting a narrative out there that I'm misappropriating somebody's culture and somebody's religion, which could thereby have an effect on me financially. So if I'm not looking at it with the key, pardon me. Do you know what y'all audience? Do y'all know what y'all audience does?
I'm talking about what he said.
Yo, why don't you just chill?
I'm fine. It's 45-minute sessions of cracking on Ish that I let slide every week.
That's right. On the last Patreon, Ish took issue with how the rest of the cast was trying to talk about his brand, but there was even some other nuggets of information with Emanny outright calling.
I think Ish is trying to get the fuck away from Joe Budden. I don't know. It could be me, but I think he see his value out here, and he think he can get more money. And people up there talking like Melissa, running her mouth.
Ice sensitive and also calling Parks out for not being joked on when it comes to the show.
Outside of Parks and Ice, I think we all take jokes that could affect us.
Right. So this all started in a conversation about Ish's brand, the company that he does hoodies with, and they were calling him out for how he was, you know, selling merch with the term Aki on it, which was, I guess, not culturally sensitive, and Ish was not down with the joke at all. And he was just like, oh, this is the type of stuff that could devalue my brand. Y'all know how y'all fans are. And he's talking about how Joe Budden's fans can easily just make his, you know, brand merch, whatever it's called, look crazy. And this is a big deal to me of note because this is something Ish has echoed before.
Ish, but it's giving us awareness though, man. It's giving us awareness. Even if they joking about it, they talking about it on a popular show. So I'd rather somebody be talking about it, saying something about it, than saying nothing about it. Nah, but if they shitting on it, then that make nobody want to buy it. But the people who fuck with you, they gonna mess with it, Ish. They ain't gonna be worrying about Joe. They gonna be trying to support you. I think that's more important. Fuck it, let them talk.
You remember not too long ago where Ish was basically saying on another podcast, I believe it was called Beards and Bottles, how Joe has a loud voice and can mobilize a lot of people to say something is whack or say something is corny.
It's like, yo, you got your own shit on again, blah. Making jokes, being performative. Then he like, yo, what's your, I was like, I don't know, maybe like 150. I said, it's the target price. So he's like, 150? Again, Joe performative. You get what I'm saying? 150, oh, man, you must gonna bring that to your house for me or something like that. So I'm like, what's that you got on? I said, what's the hoodie you had on last week? How much that cost? He said, what was it? I started laughing. Balenciaga, $1,300. I said, they came to your house and bought it to you? This is the bad part. The bad part is Joe's voice is so loud in the industry that it's taken for granted. Like, Joe could come out and be like, your album Doodle, that shit gonna carry weight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So when he did that, the next 4 or 5 days, it was forums on Reddit, on Twitter, on all these shit about should I be charging $150 for my hoodies. Was I upset? I mean, once I saw the aftermath of what him saying did, yeah, I was kind of tight.
And I believe Ish is completely right.
You right.
But he has to remember he's on the Joe Budden podcast. It's not his call what discussions can be had. It's not his call what jokes can be made. And about 4 years into his time on the Joe Budden podcast, he can't really seem to grasp that. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you feel like Ish was being sensitive? Do you feel like Ish was, killing the fun? And
I don't think he was being sensitive. I think he's protecting his brand. And if you're gonna protect your brand, you gotta protect your motherfucking brand. That's just period. You don't want nobody saying no bad shit about it, lowering its value. Because if somebody did, like, let's say that Ish get on there and he start trying to devalue Joe's show, and say like, oh, them shits over there is way better than, you gonna look at him crazy. Like, nigga, why you talking bad? But what if that's his real opinion? What if he think another show is better over there, and he want to talk about it on your show? Are you gonna let him? Hell no. Taking the value away from his show, just like what you doing to him. You taking value away from what he doing. It's actually, it's disrespect. It's disrespectful to be doing that. To be up there talking about that man's shirts. You should just don't say nothing. Don't say nothing about it.
Even Joe had to call it out by saying, boo, boo, look at how tight you getting. Basically, the whole cast was noticing how Ish was not going with the bit. And what you see on the Joe Budden podcast is a lot of people don't like to go with the bit. They don't go with the flow. They don't go with the motion, whether it be Ish not liking when people joke on his brand, whether it be Ice being sensitive, whether it be Manny completely changing up every few weeks just to find traction on the show. I mean, this guy has went through more characters than a Mexican wrestler. There's one moment he's the broke Emanny. The next moment he's the sexual freaky boy Emanny. One moment he's the Uber Emanny. I don't know who Emanny is, and I don't think Emanny knows who he is either. But it just goes to show you how everybody is still trying to find a way to fit in on the show. And I think it's reflected by how some of the members are going to Twitter Spaces and seeking to find voice there because they can't find their voice on the podcast. I'm looking at you, Emanny. I'm looking at you, Flip. I'm even looking at some people who couldn't even find a spot on the show, J1 and Ian Dunlop. It's just been tough. That show is really hard to acclimate into, and you can kind of see why. It's 6 co-hosts.
Cause of niggas like you, Daddy. It's kind of hard to be on that show. It's cause of motherfuckers like you who want to critique everything, bring shit to the light. This is crazy. It's cause of you, nigga. You make it hard on their job. Steady critiquing everything they do. That's why it's hard to work there. You gonna be talking about he was secretly mad at Joe because of such and such. Just making your own narrative. Like, you don't even fucking know. You watching the same shit I'm watching. You just not in them rooms. It's crazy, man.
7 co-hosts, 8 co-hosts sometime, and then you gotta account for people like Ish and Flip. They take up a lot of bandwidth. And then you got to account for Joe. It's just a really hard show to find your way on. But there was also another interesting part of this episode when Emanny called out how Ice and Parks never really get joked on. Interesting to me, I must say. Interesting to me because he's totally right. Nobody can really make fun of Ice. And Ice didn't say anything. He largely stays quiet. And I think that's telling because he doesn't want to address that point. But I believe in my heart of hearts, Ice probably doesn't think he's sensitive. Because anytime the situation is broached, he just looks dumbfounded. Like, how could you say that about me? I'm not sensitive. I'm just like everybody else. And Emanny highlighting how Parks isn't made fun of is also interesting. I actually think Parks could take a joke. But Parks is often defined as one of the greater yes men.
Park is the coolest nigga. He's the best, wingman. He's a good side dude. He don't cause but he adds. His little jokes he be throwing up in there be fucking fire. You gotta love Parks. And he been there since day one. Niggas know how to play their role. I don't want to say this, but people do not know how to play their fucking role. That man know how to play his role perfectly. He haven't disrupted the fucking podcast. He's only added to it. That's why you can't talk shit about Parks, man. You can't say shit.
Of the Joe Budden universe, and even by some members of the show, like Ish and Ice. There was an episode called Festivus for the Rest of Us, where they aired out their grief.
Parks is a real homie that's riding with his homie that realizes that his homie is the light. Is the light. Parks know that he is the light too, because he does the audio. He know he is the light too, but he's just a smaller light. But if I go with that big light, we gonna fucking shine like a motherfucker. And I'm gonna play my role. I don't wanna be Joe. I don't wanna do what Joe does. I'm cool. I'm sitting in the cut. I throw my little jokes out there. I ride with the black people. But I'm white and I run with my white people too. But I love both. You can tell it that's in Parks, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why ain't nobody hating on him. That's why nobody say nothing about Parks. He in that good, comfortable area and just when he's cool on both sides. And it don't seem like he's faking to be with them either.
Grievances and basically revealed how they felt about each other. And one of the criticisms Ish and Ice had was that Parks agrees with Joe too much.
So you want people in there just arguing with the man of the show. You want people to be in there disgruntled, trying to change the star of the show. It's his show, but you want people to come in there and have big opinions on his shit. No, you have small opinions. You have suggestions that they should be given, but they don't run the show. They shouldn't be coming in causing shit. Or you gonna get shit like Melissa? She started her own podcast. Now her interest don't even seem like she's really rocking with the crew no more.
And I think that's something that a lot of folks from the Rory and Mal era seem to notice as well, is that anytime Joe takes a stance, Parks kind of agrees with it. Now, there's evidence of the contrary, but as someone who's watched the show over and over and watched some episodes 3, 4, 5 times, I agree.
So just because you watch it 3 or 4 or 5 times to get some shit makes you better?
Parks knows when to skillfully disagree, but on the serious subjects, he'll pivot. Like if he sees Joe's body language all of a sudden not agree with what he's saying, oh my God, he'll flip. He'll flip like a politician, depending on where the votes are going. But let me know what you think about Emanny calling out Ice and Parks for not being fully people you can joke on in the show. But there are some other highlights from this Patreon episode as well. It was a good Patreon episode. It was called Jigsaw. And some of the other things I noted was how Ice kind of addressed how they could work all day on the pod and receive the same money. I don't know. It didn't look like Joe liked that narrative. It looked like a little bit like, oh man, you know, that's not really true. You can get paid more if you work extra that day. But I would think that Ice is probably right. I don't think he gets paid more. Like, it's probably going to have to be discussed prior. I don't think if someone goes over hours, they're going to be like, all right, we're going to pay you more because you are over hours. So we're going to extend the pay time and a half, y'all. I mean, they're all contractors, right? I think it's pretty obvious that in podcasting, everybody's a contractor. You look at No Jumper situation with T-Rel and AD, and then you look at Rory and Mal's situation with Julian. These people are not receiving salaries, so they get paid for a set amount of time. Also, Flip curves Melissa Ford's question about his studio. She asked a question.
Yo, when I get in trouble for smoking, can I smoke? Somebody please leave in them comments, man. Can I smoke on the camera? I know you can't do it on Facebook or TikTok. Can you do it on YouTube? I be seeing niggas smoke on YouTube. I don't want to smoke. I don't want to have to keep hiding doing this shit. Somebody let me know something, man. Just some CBD. all it is.
Of, do you own it?
I got
and
joint pains.
Flip was like, mind your business. Interesting. Flip also revealed that he spent $10,000 possibly on the new set of In the Room. I hope it's a much better set because the last set was trash. And you also got to remember, if you're doing some good pocket watching, Flip said on the Spaces that he made $22,000 the month that he quit Improper Improv season 2. So, I mean, you're starting to approximate what some people are making. Do you think Flip makes that same amount on the show? I would guess not. Emanny, also, he was somebody who asked Ish about his hoodie, the Aki hoodie. Ish wasn't really feeling it, and Emanny wasn't prepared for the Ish blowback, so he had to kind of like joke around it. So that was interesting. Also, Ish says people joke about him a lot, and just interesting stuff. All right, y'all, this was a good episode. Make sure you check it out. It is a rare good episode for the Patreon because I feel like they haven't had the best run of episode, especially for people who have to pay $25, $27 taxes. So we will see. But Joe's Patreon seems to be the strongest. I mean, you got to kind of recognize how Joe is the only podcast in hip-hop media that can get people to pay. I don't think Drink Champs, remember when Drink Champs did the Patreon? That was trash. Pay like that.
All right, man. We're going to get up out of here, man. It's your boy, Mr. Pop. Oh, yeah, man. Hold on, man. Let me. Oh, I am on a big deal. Let me. Ooh. Hey, man. Listen, man. On my Facebook and my Instagram, I was hacked. Somebody fucked my shit up, right? So, all the people, my friends, whatever, it's Jai Garrett 2 on Instagram and Facebook. Please go ahead and get my numbers back up because I'm starting from zero. Fuck it. I'm gonna have to rally back up. Yeah, JAIGARRETT 2. All right, man. It's your boy. Holla at me, man. Holla at me, man. We out here.